Hi, I'm GUITTON. This is my interview with a World War II veteran. His name was Morph. During the war, Morph was a Navy corpsman or medic. I'm super excited to do this. This video is Chapter 1, Training for the Navy, Getting Ready for D-Day South Pacific, and a Long Journey. Also, pay attention. What was the name of the boat he talks about? So, were you drafted or did you enlist?
You what?
Did you draft or enlist?
No, I joined.
You joined on your own?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you become a Navy corpsman?
Huh?
How did you become a Navy corpsman?
Oh, I joined, well, it's kind of a long story. I went to boot camp, and then when I come back from boot camp, they asked me what branch of the service I wanted to be in. And I liked photography, so I said photography. And I had a good friend whose family owned a drugstore. And I asked two photography questions, and the guy, I didn't know what to ask for the third. The guy said, well, I'm in, my family owns a drugstore. Why don't you pick medical corps? Boy, they snapped me up like that because they needed medical corpsmen. And so that's how I became a medical corpsman.
What was boot camp like for you?
What?
What was boot camp like for you?
It was in Sampson, New York. And I went there, and you had different work details that they gave freshman people that just came there. And I got the furnace room. So I got to stoke the fire for the heating. This was in Sampson, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember much about it. There wasn't much going on there. I was just, it was just called boot camp. And there was a whole bunch of us. We're called boots. What
was the training you had?
I had pre-medical school down in Virginia. And then from there, I went to hospital corps school in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm not taking any more of your crap. And I volunteered for the first draft out.
Right.
And they sent me to San Diego.
Okay.
Then they sent me up to 42nd Replacement Battalion.
Okay.
Then they were going to take me overseas.
Then they took you overseas?
And I got all ready to go, and I was all packed. And they never come to pick me up to take me out to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they had already stripped the dormitory of all the bed clothes. There was just mattresses. So I slept fully dressed in my uniform. I slept between two mattresses that night.
To stay warm?
To stay warm.
And that was the night before you shipped out?
Right.
Yep.
I was supposed to go then, but they didn't take me.
Right.
So the next morning, they took me.
Gotcha.
Put me on a board ship, and I was on Saipan for 17 months.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah. During the war and after the war.
Landing. What were landings like?
Yeah, and the day we landed, we got on in San Diego, and on the way out, we didn't know where we was going. And they said they had D-Day in France.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody cheered because they had D-Day. 6 days later, we were on, I never saw so many ships. there's ships from horizon to horizon, and Saipan was on the horizon up ahead. And later the next morning, we got in Higgins boats. You know what a Higgins boat is?
Like a landing craft?
Yeah, a little landing craft with the front end drops down and you can walk out. Yeah, well, they put me on a Higgins boat and took me into to Saipan. And I was very fortunate. They placed me with the flamethrower and demolition unit, and they were never on the front line. So I never got on the front line, which made me very happy, because it's pretty dangerous up there.
Do you understand what that means?
Yeah, he wasn't like fighting like as the first people.
Yeah, he wasn't the first boat that dropped down and he had to go on the beach. He came later with the demolition, the people that had explosives and the.
I was with the flamethrower and demolition unit.
That's pretty amazing, don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
How would you feel if you didn't know where you were going?
I'd be like, where am I going? What's this? What's that?
It's a funny feeling. I didn't know where I was going. You could see the shells going through the air.
Wow. Overhead.
Overhead.
Right.
Yeah. Going through and landing over on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, I never will forget that.
Huh.
You could see the shells going through the air.
How big were the explosions?
Well, the shells were, about big as that, long, round, about like that. And you could see them going overhead and landing on the beach. And when I was in there, like I say, I was with the flamethrower and demolition unit, so I never get to go first. We always followed up. And so I got on the beach, and we got on the beach and we pitched camp and we stayed there for 2 weeks. And then about every 2 weeks we would move up. I was very fortunate. I didn't have to be with the
infantry?
Huh?
Infantry?
Infantry, right. Yeah, I never was there. I was always with the flamethrower and demolition unit. And we would stay a couple of weeks in one place, then we would move up. Stay a couple of weeks and move up. We kept moving up, jumping up. We took Saipan, then we went down to Tinian and took Tinian. And I didn't know it at the time, but Tinian was the island they really wanted. It was a long, flat island, no mountains or nothing. But they had the B-29 was a new airplane at that time, and they needed a long airstrip.
Thanks everybody for watching Chapter 1. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, when Morph talks about combat and his foxhole buddy.